We're in Way Media.
Right, Mr. Walters?
You see that guy over there? Now, he's an actor. The guy on the phone, he's a prize fighter. Me, I'm a cab driver. I'm the only cab driver in this place.
Good evening and welcome to Night Mr. Walters, a taxi podcast. I'm HP, your co-host, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Father Malone. Father Malone, how are you this evening?
HP, you're a dynamite lady.
We are talking Taxi Season 3, Episode 20, Latka The Playboy. This was written by Glenn and Les Charles, the Charles Boys. Pride of Henderson, Nevada.
Let's luxuriate in some Charles business.
Directed by James Burrows, of course. Reminder, we're doing these shows in broadcast order, not in order of filming. Hey, Father Malone, guess what? This is the finale of Season 3 of Taxi, hence the finale of Season 3 of Night Mr. Walters. How does that feel?
Exhausting.
I am so excited to talk about this episode, but I'm very, very pleased that we made it. Some ups, some downs, but overall a pretty good season of Taxi. I think the best is yet to come, in my opinion. But we'll get there.
Ooh, that's a bold statement.
It is. Some of my favorites are coming up. I know they say that every season, but this is
That's true. But you know what? We've not really delved into Simca yet, have we? So
no, but we're just on the cusp. She's going to come back in season 4, and I think things are really going to open up for the show and for Latka. Speaking of Latka, this is a Latka centric episode. I'm not going to bury the lead; it's in the title. So here we go. We start on B-roll of the Sunshine Cab sign with ADR of Louis saying, "I wanted to wait until everyone was at Mario's because I didn't want to take any more harassment over this." We cut inside. Louis is outside of the cage talking with an exterminator. Now, the last episode on the job, we talked about all these guest stars from Cheers, but no one is bigger from Cheers than the person playing the exterminator. Who's playing the exterminator, Father Malone?
well, I'm pretty sure the exterminator's name is Norm.
The one and only George Wendt, R.I.P. George. He's obviously soon to join what many consider, not my opinion, but many consider to be the greatest sitcom ever made, Cheers. He's, of course, playing Norm on Cheers.
He's talking about me. I think Cheers is the superior sitcom.
Not just you. A lot of people share that opinion. I don't necessarily look. It's one of the greatest. I don't know that I can cross that Rubicon to say, yes, it is the greatest. Nevertheless, this was George Wendt's defining role. And here he is before that, introducing himself to the Burroughs universe as this exterminator.
He's a pretty bright Cheers star to be showing up here, but there are even bigger luminaries to come.
Louis is having another battle with the cockroach in his
It's a
cage.
running gag.
It is. This has gone all season. I think we've seen little pop-ins of the cockroach wreaking havoc. Louis is asking the exterminator. He wants details on what the poison does to the insect, and it's another, like I said, it's another round with this cockroach in Louis' cage. Louis loves hearing what the poison is going to do to this cockroach, this nemesis. This is odd because this is a runner in this episode, but it has nothing to do with the main storyline. It's just they kind of introduce this B plot. This is really a classic B plot, but we just pop in, we hear Louis and the exterminator talk, and then we go to Mario's, where the cabbies plus Latka are sitting around enjoying a beer. Beautiful woman walks in and catches Latka's attention. Apparently, she's been here before, and Latka has gotten a little crush on her.
She's
Latka,
okay.
I thought she was pretty. I didn't
Pretty.
think,
I mean, there's nothing to write home about.
But this is Latka. I mean, she captured his attention for whatever reason. He's got a crush on her, but the problem is he feels like she doesn't even know that he's alive, and the rest of the cabbies try to encourage him to talk to her, but then Latka bemoans his lack of luck with women. Finally, Latka, I think just to get them off his back, he says he'll do it tomorrow. Bobby and Tony don't take no for an answer, and they bodily pick him up and shove him over.
This is cruel, by the way. This is not cool of them. Because
they shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, they know he's going to be a failure here. I mean,
Yeah, because there's just no way that this meek foreign guy like Latka is going to make an impression on this beautiful woman. Anyway, it actually is sort of sweet once he gets there. He tries to tap her on the shoulder. Again, there's something very Chaplin-esque about Kaufman when he does this physical comedy with embodied by Latka. So I thought it was very sweet. He tries meekly to get her attention, and finally Latka shoots his shot, but the lady says she's not interested. And Latka makes the long walk of shame back to the table. The cabbies try to console Latka and Bobby. We're kind of back to Bobby the scumbag.
I
He
love this Bobby, man.
under
I'm
the
gonna go give
guise.
her a piece of my mind. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, okay,
under
sure
the
you are,
guise that
Bobby.
he's gonna like, stick up for Latka, he goes over to talk to this woman, but in true Bobby fashion, he ends up asking her out and she
Oh no,
accepts.
she needs a cab. As it turns out, she needs a cab. I'm a cab driver. What am I gonna do about it, guys? You okay with this, right, Latka?
Bobby is nobody's friend. This is the same guy who cruelly took Tony's two beloved goldfish and mounted them on the largest plaque that he could even find. It's such a grim EC Comics esque display. Like, there's nothing more to be said about Bobby. He's a cruel, thoughtless individual.
In his defense, he will perform a play about a paraplegic in front of small children.
So we fade into the garage where Latka is studying a Playboy magazine. Alex comes over to ask about it, and Latka tells Alex that he's studying it to try and become an American fun guy. Elaine asks, "What's the point of all of this?" And Latka replies, justifiably, I might add, that he's sick of being thought of as just a cute little foreigner. And Alex asks how reading these magazines is going to make him any more sophisticated. And Latka says that he's going to take a vacation from the garage. He's going to lock himself in. And in every spare moment, he's going to study this Playboy. Latka also has recorded a tape of an FM DJ off of the radio, and he's going to learn to talk smooth like him. Latka picks out this passage in the magazine, and the passage is very specific. It's alter my lifestyle to fit the fast lane. Latka reads it over and over and over again, each time sounding a little more hip, a little deeper, and a little more American. He loses the accent over the course of these 4 or 5 repeated line readings. And by the end, his accent, Father Malone, is gone, and he's sounding smooth and nothing like Latka. It's a wonderful show of control and comedy. It's remarkable. What did you think of this little bit?
Well, it shows the genius of having a funny accent as your primary form of communication. Because when you start talking like yourself, it's like a slap in the face. It's like a magic trick when Andy
Yeah.
Kaufman begins speaking like Andy Kaufman.
That's exactly right. What you just said. It's like a magic trick because we are so conditioned from watching this show that it's Latka. He's got the Latka voice. So to hear him slip into a kind of a gigolo version of his normal speaking voice, it's like a transformation that happens right in front of your eyes, and it's really a privilege to see him do it. It's fantastic. At that point, we fade to commercial after this comedic display, and we fade back in to the garage. Now we're going to follow this. Actually, this is the conclusion of the B plot, I believe, because the exterminator is wrapping up his pesticide application. Louis relieved. He goes in there with his lunch, the sandwich.
That's crazy, by the way. This guy just laid down poison.
The exterminator just said, like, well, some people, the poison will give them headaches. Some people make them nauseous. He's like, me, I like the stuff. So I don't know why Louis decided that was the moment to go back into the cage, but he
Let me
does.
go rub my sandwich on the pesticide and then
Without a napkin or a plate, he puts the sandwich on the counter where he
the
gives out the
counter.
envelopes.
Like I wouldn't do that even if they didn't spray for roaches moments ago. I'm not putting my sandwich anywhere down in that fucking cab company.
You got to figure like all the years of soot and like gas fumes and grime. It's just coating everything. It just looks awful.
And you know what? He's not there 24 hours. Somebody else is in that cage, right? Somebody else's fingers are all over that fucking and all the hands coming in and out, handing him things and stuff. Ah!
It's disgusting. But so he puts the sandwich down. Then the sandwich, as he's talking to Jeff and Bib bopping along, the sandwich starts to crawl away, and he tries to stop it, and the cockroach won't go away. Actually, this isn't quite the conclusion, but this is again, this is not a great B plot, but there's a few laughs.
It's diverting.
Whatever. So then again, the only reason we're in the garage is to show this little display. Now we cut back to Mario's, where Jim, Alex, Elaine, and Bobby are having drinks. The woman, whose name happens to be Karen from earlier, comes in with a friend and takes a nearby table. Bobby is grousing because he makes it clear that she broke up with him. It's been a bad breakup. An excited Tony runs in. He tells the cabbies that Latka is back from his vacation and on his way in. Tony says, I want to take a spot so I can see all your faces when he comes in. And he kind of like models his hands. Okay, this is the spot. Perfect. And Latka struts in, looking nothing like Latka. He's got like a brown tweed suit, a very rakishly, loosely tied tie.
But
He's
those
nothing.
fabric ties, those knitted ties that usually had a square or like a flat end
Yeah.
instead of the usual sort of triangular thing, like that's the tie he's wearing, and that makes me hate him.
He's just nothing but swagger.
HP and I went to a prep school in the 1980s,
Yes.
and the kind of person that wears that tie, just I detested them. I'm thinking of a few of them right now, and now that I've set upon this notion about that kind of a tie and that kind of a person, when I go through the Rolodex of people that we've interacted with over the years that had that piece of fabric hanging around their neck, horrible people.
It just confirms your hypothesis that they're awful people. So Latka walks over to the table and he starts in with this loose American banter. It's like, "Hey, I love you guys. You're beautiful." It's like, how would you describe? Like Gigolo doesn't really cover it. I was kind of struggling to come up with a like.
It's the 1980s stereotype of a talent agent is what he is here. What he's espousing and the terminologies he's using is definitely the Playboy manifesto from the 60s. So he's coming off as kind of smarmy, but you know,
He's Kaufman's playing a very specific type of upwardly mobile, image conscious douche, basically. It's the kind of guy who would read and enjoy and really get into like Zen and the art of motorcycle maintenance. Like somebody who is always
exactly.
after the next trend in pseudo psychology or something like that. It's this kind of guy.
He's a he's a really hip guy, but the thing is that usually has a creep factor to it, and I'm not getting the creep factor from Latka. What I'm getting is all of what the Playboy lifestyle promised, which was the hip guy who's up on everything and also kind of evolved and like, you know,
Yeah.
trying to diffuse situations and stuff. Like, yeah, it's
That's exactly it. I thought there was a single word or a single term to dub that kind of person, but it's very hard because there's a lot at work with this character.
the stereotype is California asshole. That's what it is.
That's as good as any that I couldn't think of. That's perfect.
Hey, babe, let's do lunch. What's going on, everybody? You're looking good. Oh
Hey,
my
what's your
God, Elaine,
sign?
you're looking like dynamite. Yeah, hey, everybody. Yeah. Oh, slow down there with that aggression there, fella. A little less red meat. What do you say?
Exactly. That's him all over in this. And Kaufman, as you would expect, just takes this part and he just runs with it. He has conditioned himself by doing this intense study of the Playboy lifestyle, and he's effectively become the perfect exponent of that philosophy. So he goes over to Tommy, who's completely shocked by this transformation. He asks Tommy like, "Hey, what kind of imported beer you got?" It's that kind of guy. And Tommy looks and he goes, "I got Schlitz." And Latka says, "Ah, you're a mug, Tommy. Yeah, you're just give me one of those." He's very bemused. Now he's bemused by by Tommy. Now, this is Latka, who we used to thinking of as this meek, sweet, unassuming guy. And
Now he's
now
too
this,
cool for school.
he's way too cool for school. Latka turns around, he surveys the restaurant, and he sees this woman, Karen, that he had a crush on, and he glides over to her table and he feeds her all of these corny lines, but she actually eats it all up. She asks him his name, and he replies, Vic Ferrari. So, by the way, from now until the end, I will just be referring to him as Vic because
It is
he's
Vic.
effectively, it is. He's not Latka at this point. He is Vic. He's become this character called Vic Ferrari. Vic says he's into, and this is a quote, he's into Italian cars, Technics stereos, Australian films, and beautiful women, which again tells you all you need to know about this stereotype, basically.
How does he end the last thing he says? Like corny line, but it's heartfelt, something like that.
It gets to this woman, and she starts to respond to all this whole display. Vic persists and finally convinces this woman to leave Mario's with him. Before he leaves, because the cabbies are all like, "Hey, Latka, what's going on?" So he tells her to wait a moment. He goes over to the table, and they all say to him, "Latka, you can just drop the act." And Vic gets angry. He says he's already dropped his act, and they can all stand to do the same. And then he goes over to Elaine and he kisses her hand and says, "By the way, you're looking dynamite tonight, Elaine." And he leaves with Karen. Vic leaves with Karen as we fade back into the garage. Now we see Vic is dressed in a yellow jogging suit, which kind of harkens back to the episode where he won the men's wardrobe. Do you remember that a couple of
Oh
episodes
yeah,
ago?
one of my
It's like
favorites.
that.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, with this lime green tracksuit he's wearing. Oh no, it's
Yeah.
yellow, right? It's
This
it's
one's
almost
yellow. Yeah.
it's vaguely cabby flavor.
Yeah. And he's got these giant headphones on. He's listening to a turntable, and as he's working with the wrenches and things, he's like air guitaring and really into this music. And Louis comes over and tries several times to get his attention, and when he can't hear him or is oblivious, Louis like takes the arm of the record player and like scratches it on the record, completely ruins the record, and then Vic flings off the headphones and he
You
says something
ruined the
like,
Elvis Costello.
"Yeah, man, you wasted Elvis Costello," which is again this we all know characters like this, and especially in the '80s. This was a big archetype of like
To,
the
you know
the
what?
smart.
Let me just defend Elvis Costello there. He really should have been listening to Joe Jackson.
Probably.
It's the same sort of nerdy kind of like hearkening back to an earlier form of music.
Yeah, but definitely we can agree he's probably listening to something new wavy or
Oh
maybe
yeah,
something of that ilk, I think.
absolutely. He's got missing persons on his turntable at home.
Probably. Louis tells Latka he doesn't like people listening to music in the garage, and he's getting weirder every day. And he threatens Latka. He tries to threaten Latka with getting fired, but Vic, right to his face, he's doing that thing where he kind of like mocks him by making faces like, "Meh, meh, 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 meh," which is something that Latka would never, ever have done. This is the transformation is really complete. And it's actually kind of amazing that Louis didn't actually fire him. We can only assume that it was just an empty threat, that he wasn't actually going to fire him. He gets away with mocking Louis to his face. Vic announces that he's about to take his sparkling water break. And this is a time now nowadays, Father Malone, like I've been drinking seltzer for years. I love seltzer. But this was a time when sparkling water, it was like an upper crust rich thing, right? Sparkling water, mineral
Perrier
water.
Perrier was the catch-all phrase for all mineral water at the time.
Yeah.
Perrier, because it was so hoity-toity, so upper crusty. I remember having it as a kid because it was a new thing and just being like delighted that there was this bubbly water that had no like sort of soda like caramelly kind of flavor.
Yeah. But it was not something that you would just get at any old restaurant. It was a big
No, you had
deal
to
to
you
get.
had to seek it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a sign of absolute snobbery here that he is stopped and drinking a Perrier that he is pouring into a glass with lime.
Right. The cabbies all are watching this. They're marveling to themselves that he's not snapping out of this. This has been going on for over a week. Elaine says she even tried to talk Latka out of this thing, but he just keeps telling her that she's a dynamite lady.
And I keep telling him that's beside the point.
You know what? She's right. A call comes in at the old payphone. Bobby answers it. It's Karen. It's that woman Karen for Vic. Vic tells Bobby, just tell her I'm not here. Bobby's like, wait, this is the girl of your dreams. What's you don't want to talk to her? And Vic doesn't care. He says something like, what does he
Hey,
say?
I'm not here.
Yeah.
You got that?
You got that? Yeah. Bobby asks Vic, this is the girl of your dreams. What's going on? And Vic gives this psychoanalysis of
It's
Karen
great.
that he says, yeah, she craves rejection, goes around finding it wherever she can. This character is perfect.
I will say that they are playing on a particular stereotype of a character that was prevalent, but because it's Andy Kaufman, I kind of want to hang out with him.
He does it with charm and with panache, and it's never not funny. It's always funny when he does it.
It is pop psychoanalysis, but he's probably right about that girl. I bet she does like go looking for rejection.
So Elaine goes over to Vic, but he starts in with this whole dynamite lady thing, and this actually gets her upset, and she tells him to shut up. And then,
Redheads.
yeah, am I right? He makes this aside to Bobby, like this completely demeaning thing about, oh, redheads, am I right? Elaine tells Vic to sit down, and they all try talking to him. Vic's whole point is that he's assimilating. That's what he's doing. Furthermore, he says he doesn't want to be Mr. Popularity if that means striking out with ladies every single night and returning to the what he was before.
This is a big flowers for Algernon situation going on here. I don't want to go back. Please don't.
Right. That's a good call. Flowers for Algernon. That's great. That was a very scary book, by the way. The way it's written,
Terrifying.
very terrifying.
Terrifying.
For those who maybe weren't forced to read Flowers for Algernon in high school, it's a diary of a mentally disabled man who's been this way all of his life, and he has an experimental procedure done to him that will give him intelligence. It will make him intelligent, so he'll no longer be mentally disabled. It works, and he becomes a brilliant individual. He meets and falls in love with a woman, but over time there are complications to this procedure, and
Yeah,
it
and it all
eventually
he starts reducing in memory and cognitive abilities.
yeah.
And worse than that, he knows it's happening.
And but the way that it's written in this first person style,
Oh,
you
just stop. I'm gonna cry, actually.
it's
Just stop.
awful.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what we've got here. He's fearful of becoming what he was before. He doesn't want that. But he says, "Well, but it's a good thing I have this friend of mine, Alex, over here." And I love this line that he says. He says, "Alex has a heart as big as his schnoz and a brain as sharp as his profile," which is so demeaning. He's trying to express that Alex is his only friend, but he's saying it by like insulting him to his face.
That's a backhanded compliment. The definition of.
It is a very backhanded compliment, but then we kind of get Alex the psychologist again, because Alex gets up and he says, "Look, maybe Latka, maybe you were justified in thinking that there was a patronizing element to the way we treated you." And he's right. They probably were. Even in the beginning of the episode, when they all notice that he has this crush, they're all treating him like he's a child. "Oh, you have a little crush, Latka?" So
Right, and when he points out, like, you're always treating me like I'm cute, they treat him like he's cute, and it drives him
yeah.
crazy. So that's as Latka. So that's probably kicking around in his brain too.
Yeah. So Alex is dead on. He's like, I think maybe we were patronizing you. But Alex says the thing that I keep coming back to is I liked Latka and I don't like you. And then he walks out and Vic says something like, "Oh, hard to get happy after that, huh?" Like he makes this silly joke, but you can tell that it's wounded him in some way. And in fact, what's interesting is what we're going to get into here, Father Malone, is do you remember when Latka had the cookies, Latka's
Yeah,
cookies?
of course. How
And
can I forget?
And the person who essentially saved him from himself in that episode was
Famous
Alex.
Amos.
So, well, that was a hallucination that he had
Oh,
from
well, that
the coca, but that's effectively what happens here too. So we fade into Alex's apartment in the evening. There's a knock at the door, and it's Vic. Alex, he starts to say something to Alex, and Alex just slams the door in his face. He knocks again, and he basically begs Alex to let him in. And Alex says, "Well, what's going on?" And Vic says that he cries at night. He's so troubled that he wants to get out of this Vic persona, but he can't do it. And he begs Alex to help him. He's stuck inside of this guy, and he doesn't know what to do.
I don't understand what's so wrong with Vic. I think Vic's kind of a cool guy, honestly. I think everyone's being a bit selfish and trying to make him revert back to his old adorable self because they just want someone to look at and go, "You're cute again."
You're probably right, but I think there's something in Alex's hostile response to him in the garage that said, maybe this isn't me. Maybe I don't want to be this person anymore. Maybe I'm realizing the superficiality of all of this, and it's not what I wanted for myself.
Is that because somebody with a heart as big as their schnoz said it to him?
For whatever reason, he wants to get out of this Vic loop, but he can't do it. He needs Alex's help. So Alex agrees to help and sits with him on the couch. And he says to him, like, look, remember how Latka used to talk? Just, you talk like Latka used to talk. And he says, I don't remember how Latka talked. And Alex tries to coax the old Latka out of him. Alex has him try to say the old line, Ibida, but Vic says he's gone too far. But Alex refuses to believe that it's too late and tells him, don't try so hard. Just trust that Latka's in there and he'll come out. And at this point, Father Malone, Kaufman throws his head back. So you don't see his face. It's all the way back, resting against the couch. And when he comes back up, when he rises back up, it's Latka again. His eyes, like there's something with the way his eyes are now bug-eyed like Latka's. His hair all of a sudden looks like Latka's. It's a brilliant transformation because with a little bit of work on his hair and his face, it's like Latka is back. And again, that's the brilliance of Kaufman and his physical comedic abilities that he can pull this off like it's magic, like you said.
I do feel like we were robbed of an altered states like sequence where Latka is throwing himself down a hallway and bashing himself, and he turns from Latka into Vic and back. So overalls, Latka, and back into like super slick Vic.
They're both excited that Latka's back. Latka then proceeds to describe everything that happened to Alex in his native tongue. This part of the scene, I was reminded of the scene in Return of the Jedi, Father Malone, where C-3PO is telling the story of the Star Wars up to that point to the Ewoks. And he's speaking in the Ewok language, but you can tell just from pantomime and through vocal inflection what he's talking about. Well, that's what we have here. Effectively, Latka tells the story of the episode up to that point. He does a little thing about the woman who rejected him and even Alex, I don't like you. It's really funny. I was so charmed by this sequence.
Nutch Vader.
Alex grabs a couple beers and Latka finally finishes the story. And Alex, this is maybe my favorite part of the whole episode. Alex tells him it's good to have you back, Latka. And Latka all of a sudden has the Vic voice again. He goes, hey, all right. And I think he even does like a finger point gun. And Alex is like, what? And Latka goes, oh, no, I'm only fooling. And then he takes a sip of the beer, but then he gives this sidelong glance that freeze frames back to Alex, basically implying that he's only pretending to be Latka. I think I have you fooled. Chef's kiss. What a wonderful button on the episode, because now you're doubting that he's actually become Latka again. Is he only fooling Alex by pretending to be Latka from now on?
Wow, this is like the culmination of all the horrors, like all the darkness we've been seeing in Latka. It's now personified. In fact, it's now pretending to be Latka. That's horrifying.
Is it him? Is it someone else pretending to be Latka? We don't know. And we won't ever really, we can only assume that it's Latka, but maybe not. Sort of casts doubt on the rest of the series for me.
I'm a little worried for Simca.
It's a little creepy. So that's the episode. Now we're going to talk about yellow lights.
What does a yellow light mean?
Reminder, we grade every episode on a scale from 1 to 5 yellow lights. 1 is the worst taxi episode, and 5 is the best. And as is our custom, we're going to throw it to you first, Father Malone. What do you give Latka the Playboy?
I'm going to finish out this season strong with another 4 yellow lights for this one, I think. I liked the performance of Andy Kaufman. Obviously, any Kaufman-centric episode is going to be good, and I think he pulls it out here. I like Vic. I want more Vic. I wish, in fact, in every episode from now on, we got a moment of Vic. Like when he's away from the other cabbies and like talking to himself, like, yeah, okay, sure, whatever you say, Alex. You know, little things like that. That would be nice.
So you're saying we want confirmation that he was only pretending to be Latka, that Vic is still there?
No, I'm assuming he is from now on Vic pretending to be Latka, and I would like occasional confirmation of that.
It's creepy. I'm also going to finish this season strong, but I'm going to go ahead and give this episode 5 yellow lights. Father Malone.
A perfect episode. A perfect episode is what you're saying.
Yes. Because we've had other Latka centered episodes before, but this one feels like a real breakthrough for both the character and for Andy Kaufman. And the gambit was clearly effective because we'll see the show return to this multiple personality storyline several more times through the rest of the series. Some of the best episodes that have yet to come take place with that same premise. Look, I know we've said in the past the perfect episode has to involve all of the cabbies, but his performance and his presence, Andy Kaufman, in this episode is so strong. I have no choice but to give this a perfect score. This is rewatchable. This is so funny. Great laughs. Wonderful performance by Andy Kaufman. No question in my mind, this is a 5 yellow light episode.
I won't push back that hard on you on that. The redhead line alone is that interaction with Elaine is good enough. And I mean, really, the only one he doesn't interact with is Tony.
That's true. Bobby has a little thing with Karen, this woman, and all that. But the only other thing that is a little odd is that whole B plot with the cockroach.
See,
really
you know
becomes
what?
Of that.
They should have had Tony over there doing that with you know what I mean? Like take some of the characters who were not going to feature at all and stick them over in that B plot. And I think that would have smoothed things over a little bit more.
That's actually not a bad idea. He could have been involved in the fight against
fighting the roach.
cockroach.
You know what I mean? Like he's afraid of the roach as well. It would have been funny.
Yeah, he doesn't really have much to do. But despite that, Kaufman is so strong in his performance that it outshines all the negatives for me. So 5 yellow lights from myself, 4 from Father Malone. That's going to do it. Hey, it's been another wonderful season of Night Mr. Walters. Let me say thank you to you for another wonderful season. I look forward to another couple of great seasons of taxi fun with you. So thank you. And thank you, the listener, who has been listening to this, and stick with us. And we're going to continue to bring you some great Night Mr. Walters content. So Father Malone, where can folks find you when you're not clocked into the garage?
I do a show called Midnight Viewing. It's on twice a week, Mondays and Fridays. Go check me out over there. We do a lot of content and things are getting really cool over there. So come be cool.
It's good stuff. Don't forget about the fests that Father Malone has cooked up over on his channel. We just finished up Yautja Fest, which is an overview of all of the films in the Predator franchise, including the Alien versus Predator films, which some people, I understand, don't count towards the franchise.
They're wrong.
They're wrong, and we covered those in great detail. Check those out. Those were
currently doing a Star Trek fest, you and I.
Mm-hmm. Are those currently on your Patreon, or have you put those live yet on the
Star Trek go up on the Patreon about a month early, but by the time this comes out, Star Trek the Motion Picture should be out for the general feed, so you should be able to go check that out.
Great stuff. Been a delight to work on those with you as well, my friend. For myself, I host the Noise Junkies Music Podcast, and I also have a Bandcamp site, hpmusicplace.bandcamp.com. Thanks again for listening. Please feel free to subscribe to the podcast, write a review, rate us. We'd love to hear from you. Speaking of which, My email is hpmusicplace@gmail.com. Thanks so much for listening, folks, and we'll see you again in the next season.